Now I'm at about 177,000 kilometers, or about 110,000 miles, and my maintenance minder let me know that I needed to change the coolant with the code B15, the 1 being the engine oil and the 5 being the engine coolant. I've never changed the coolant before and was quite worried about it, but after looking it up, it seemed fairly straightforward. If there's anything I miss, mention it in the comments below. I know people won't be shy about that. Now the materials are very simple. All you need is a bucket or pan to collect the old coolant, the Type 2 Honda coolant, which is already pre-diluted. I got 2 bottles just in case, and this funnel system designed for easily filling and observing the burping of the air out of the system. I got it on Amazon. I'll put a link in what I purchased below. You might need a set of pliers for a tight petcock valve, but that's it. First, make sure your engine is cold. You don't want to burn yourself with hot coolant. With the hood open, finding everything is pretty easy. The radiator cap is pretty obvious, and the petcock valve, which is your drain valve for the coolant, is centrally located at the bottom of the radiator and is the plastic white knob sticking out. There's an easy access cutout below as well. I place a bucket under the petcock valve and found it easier for me to get it to it from reaching down from the top, but you can also get at it from the bottom. Slowly open until the coolant comes out. You don't have to remove it completely. I then take the radiator cap off to help it drain faster. It's like a pill bottle. You have to push down and then turn to take it off. Now the funnel has different radiator bases of different sizes based on your manufacturer. For my 2016 Honda CRV, it uses the blue cap. I found I really had to push down hard in order to get it into place for a tight fit. It should not be loose. Then insert the funnel. In order to remove the reservoir, I use a flathead screwdriver to help pull out the reservoir from its holder. There are no screws at all. You simply unscrew the top and empty out the reservoir. And when you're placing it back in, you'll see that there's a slight dovetail that you have to slide into and snap it in. Once everything is drained out, you tighten the petcock valve until hand tight. Then start to slowly fill the funnel. You'll see air burping out of the system as you fill it. I wasn't sure when to do this, but I added coolant to the minimum line of the reservoir. Once it stops going down, you overfill the funnel a little. Then, making sure the heat is on full, the fan on high, and the air conditioning off, you can start the car. You will notice some air coming out of the system, which is what you want. You're trying to burp any of the air out of the system. You can also squeeze the upper and lower radiator hoses to help push air out. The goal, I believe, is to get the system up to operating temperature, so I revved the engine to about 2000 RPM for periods of time to help warm up things a little faster. Keep monitoring the engine temperature gauge to make sure there's no overheating, and the coolant in the funnel to make sure it isn't empty, and to see if the bubbles have stopped. Now, I had my car running for about 30 minutes and finally got it up to normal operating temperature, and I never noticed the radiator fans coming on, but that's supposed to be something you should watch out for, having them go on a couple times at least, but maybe because it was only 19 degrees Celsius at the time, they weren't going on. Once there were no bubbles and the engine had reached operating temperature for a good few minutes, I shut off the engine. I then put the plunger back in the funnel and removed the funnel with very little spillage. The remainder of the fluid I put back in the container and some into the reservoir to the fill line. The cap was put back on, and that was it. I kept an eye on the temperature gauge while driving just to make sure there were no issues and to check for leaks from the petcock valve. Again, let me know if there are any glaring issues. Everything is running well, so I think it's okay. Anyway, thanks for watching and hope to see you in the next Ladybug adventure.